Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhodes on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning.
Hello from frozen Utah.
Yeah, frozen Utah. I think we woke up this morning and it was something like
15.
Now,
I crawled back under the
those of
covers.
you who are not familiar with Utah, I've lived up in some of the more mountainy areas, and I have documented on my phone negative 12 degrees. Ouch. That's one of the reasons why, I don't live up in the mountains like that anymore.
She's also
during the
lived
winter.
where the snow was over her head.
Oh, the stories I tell. I mean,
Yeah.
there was one season I cried so hard because I had a tractor that had a snow thrower off the back of it, and it got so high that the tractor couldn't blow snow over the edge. I couldn't reach the top of the snow. And so I went like, oh, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And I cried because I was the only one that did snow, and I had a daughter that had to get to high school. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, good morning, everybody. We're glad to have y'all here. Thanks for joining us. We again, Utah, here to visit family and do the stuff. We have any registration has been opened, and those of you who are friends of ours on Facebook and all of that, registration has been opened. The stuff is out for the webinar that we're doing on the 29th, which is about how to turn your buy here, pay here leads into appointments.
And man, our panelists
are fantastic.
David Norton, you got Maggie Pagesic, you got Jason Goodman out of Texas,
and Terry McCauley
with Big Time.
And then a few dealers that we're going to have there as well to ask live questions. But it's going to be open for people to submit their questions as we go along as well. So it's really going to be a great high value topic for all of our buy here, pay here dealers out there.
So get registered for that.
Yay!
On December 29th.
Yes.
We have some all-star guests with us this morning. We got
so
the
how about
guys
if I
from...
just kind of add them in?
Yeah, bring them in. Let's talk to them.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. So glad to have you.
So what part of the world are you guys in? Let's get the weather update from where you are.
We are in Kentucky. Yeah.
Frosted over today, but not quite that kind of cold.
No snow. We got sun outside. It's beautiful. It's just a little nippy outside, a little frost over the grass and trees, but beautiful.
That's a nice December day. Yeah, outstanding.
I mean, I do have to say, I enjoy watching it snow. I enjoy this. This is fun. It doesn't bring me PTSD like it used to, because I don't have to try to shovel it. I mean, literally, when we first met, the first time we experienced snow, he was like, I don't understand your reaction, because I was just huddled up in a corner, sucking my thumb. It was bad. So,
listen, I'm not a big snow fan. I love the look. I love holiday. Like, if it snows one time, the only day I want it to be is Christmas, right? Yeah. Let it be a white Christmas for me, and then the rest of the year, let's be 80 degrees and let's go out and have some fun, right? That's all. Exactly. But no, I totally get it. I get the same PTSD myself.
Is Christmas coming up?
It's next week. Honey.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're like little over a week away. Like,
I got plenty of days. That sounds like I got plenty.
Nothing. We've done nothing.
Yeah,
it's the best way to shop. What other way to go to get ready for Christmas? But besides the last week, we all know half the world's out there right now.
It's true. It's very, very true. And I think that what we were thinking about for this year with the kids, it's more about experiences. Because who wants to travel with a whole suitcase full of stuff?
Yeah,
right.
So,
who's getting the stuff? So I could make room in my luggage for a few things. So
money.
Yeah.
There's always room for money.
Always room for a little extra money in there. Yeah, I can fit that in there. I might get rid of some stuff to put money in there.
We got to get started learning about your show. You told us a little bit when we bumped into you. Finally met you in person in Austin.
I've watched some of them and super high energy. But tell us about what it is you're doing.
How'd you get started? I know you started right in 2020. I think you said.
That's right. The idea came about in 2019. It was probably the end of the summer. Lou and I, we worked at a dealership, an independent store for almost a decade. #1 independent group in the state of Kentucky. We just had a great time building that place up, building up the team, coming up with great processes and so many different ideas. We were part of a really great group of people, right? Everyone from the owner all the way down to the sales staff, cleanup crew, you name it. They were all just phenomenal people, solutionaries as we call it, right? And well, you go through so long, you're in a position where you're doing great, but yet you feel like you're yearning for more, right? So that was happening with me. And I had a great time with Lou at this, we had this annual houseboat party that we do. We take all the guys and go and have a great time out in the lake, rent a couple houseboats and just go isolate ourselves for a few days. And it's an amazing thing. We even shut the dealerships down. It's crazy. And great time, had a good time. Lou and I were up there just having a blast. And when I left there, I felt super inspired even more. I was already starting to be inspired through my day-to-day work. And then I called Lou one day and I said, hey, it was after a Monday morning meeting between the whole auto group. We all got together and I was driving away and I was like, man, I meant to ask him. So I called him. I said, hey, Lou, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. He was like, yeah. And I was like, and I need somebody to do it with me, brother. And I feel like if I have somebody else, it would be strong. You're the only person I could think of that I know would commit to it like me. And he goes, okay, do you got a name for it yet? I was like, no. I don't, man. I haven't even thought about which way I want to go with the podcast, automotive, general, whatever. And he said, well, he goes, I got one. I said, what's that? He goes, Car Guy Coffee.
There you go.
I love it.
And I knew the meaning of it. And I'll let Lou tell the meaning of that in a moment. But I knew the meaning of it at that moment. And I took a second because I didn't know if I wanted to do automotive podcast. And I was like, okay. And he said that. And then it just literally took me less than 20 seconds to sink in. And I was like, yes. Okay. That's exactly what we need to do. So Lou, tell the story about the Car Guy Coffee. The Car Guy Coffee, it's something that came about through energy. And I'm going to let Lou tell that story really quick.
So building up Car Guy Coffee, I had a salesperson who was somewhat amazed at the energy that has to be pumped inside of a store on his first Saturday inside of the building. You have balloons going up, everybody going crazy. And I got the music cranked up inside of the showroom and asking him, what are you doing? Get up, get away from your desk. It's balloon 30 and it's time to get this showroom popping. And he's looking at me and he says, man, what are you on? And I got a big cup of coffee in my hand and I just say, I'm on Car Guy Coffee. What are you on? And inside of that, this is a salesperson that also we developed from doing nothing inside of sales whatsoever to then being able to create and carve out a path for himself inside of automotive, where he learned so many different dynamics, but he didn't know the type of energy that had to be pumped inside of a day. So the Car Guy Coffee flow came from there. And before Fred called, I wanted to get a podcast out there about a book that still hasn't been released, hasn't been completed yet, but for the message of forgive, focus, fly. And recognize I don't really have many things that I can talk about other than automotive and how to mentor people.
Good.
That's all I knew. And I knew about coffee. I love coffee, right? So inside of that, I was like, well, I could talk about coffee, a Car Guy Coffee podcast, right? And inside of that had a logo described in the head to make the O be a pod, right? The whole flow with it. So when Fred called, it was like, oh man, I already got a name. We got this. Let's go.
That's fantastic.
And long story short, we started working together. It was probably October on working on it. We came out with a date. I took massive action. I made shirts that said 1/20/2020 is the first brew is ready. We gave them out to everyone we knew. We did online. I was never even on social media before then. I opened up a Facebook account, Instagram account. I started learning how to use it, promoting it, marketing it. And then it just went bananas. But at first it was the first 10 episodes really was about the basics of automotive, right? Like if you go back, it's a great place for people to go listen to how to really be developed and how to grow in this industry. Just us mostly talking. We had a couple interviews, but not a lot. After 10 episodes were up, we decided that, and what we did and we went forward with over the last 3 years pretty much is we're going to highlight all the great people in this industry. We were going to interview people that were doing things that no one heard about, like the good stuff. Like everyone always hears about how bad car people are. Everyone always hears how we take advantage of folks. Everyone hears how we're scumbags and there's people who are, uncompliant and they're getting fined millions of dollars at their stores for doing it the wrong way. When there's a ton of us doing it the right way. When there's a ton of us who are family people who love the people that are in front of us, who actually care about what's happening when we sell a vehicle to somebody, not just while we're selling it, but after. Why not tell those stories? Why not show that off? Why not get people, the next generation, our kids, to want to be a part of this industry, to want to make this industry even better than it was yesterday, right? So it ended up being a highlight show of all the great people in this industry, and being able to share that. And then it's just blew up from there, and it's just been a lot of fun.
I love it. I love how it came from like this really, it came from a heart place of, let's help teach other people how to be the good, and how to be the difference, and how to be the change makers, and how to make people feel like they're human, seen, all of that through the process. I love it.
And we're also kind of following the lead of others that are out there, the Gary V's of the world, who are saying, kindness is not just a great way to operate. It's also just good business. Like, at the end of the day, we can make the case that it's good business,
business.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great way to every single night. It's like people ask me how I sleep. How do you sleep at night? Well, I sleep extremely comfortable and very fulfilled. Right?
Because you're in the car business, right?
Right. That's why they'll ask you that question. I'm like, listen, this industry is not bad. You guys have a bad perspective, and that's what we're trying to change. And people like you, and having a show like you all have, highlighting the great things, being able to help dealers get better, is what it's all about. And it's honored to be on your show today. We're very much in line. I think that we're on the same tune. We're just trying to help this industry, and we're trying to help people in this industry. And I love that.
Sure. I loved the opportunity when we were all sitting across the hall from each other, or whatever, at Super Forum, and I think that you guys were kind of like, all right, who are these people? And we were kind of like, hey, who are these people? And I mean, just like, but who you are. It's not, it's not that you're out there doing the car stuff and the teaching stuff, and you have a podcast and all of that, but who you are. And I really have to say that just listening and kind of back and forth, and the conversation that we had, it was like, oh, there's a lot about what it is that you guys do that really, it's very harmonious to what it is that we're trying to do. So thank you.
You mentioned the white hat way. I was like, that's the solutionary way. It's such a, we synergize extremely well together. I think that what our message is the same message. It's to do it the right way. If you do it the right way, you don't have anything to worry about. That's it.
Yeah.
So in your guys' business, are you still both in the car business right now?
We are in the car business, fused together with dealer partners across the nation and vendor partners across the nation, like our friends over at VinQ.
That's right.
But there's so much that we fuse together with a single message to get through to all professionals. And that's to forgive, focus, fly, so that you can keep growing. And inside of that, that's what we get the chance to be able to do inside of different events, where we get to meet people like you and many, many others, is be able to bring that message. And the premise always is that there are great people in this industry.
That's right.
They're doing great things that are attached to great solutions. And so often those solutionaries that are out there, they get berated about their product. They get asked about what is the solution? What do they do? What is it that they do for the industry, or for those that may be looking for their services? But we love to pull out what's great inside of the person. We like to put them in the hot seat and extract some of that good stuff for them. And then we call that their special brew, right? Their particular coffee, right? What it is that's unique to them. Because really, behind great products, there's always great people.
It's always the people.
And that's what we want to be able to highlight, because really a person trying to find themselves inside of automotive may only think that there's one side of it, right? Whatever side they've had exposure to, whether it's talking to the service manager or talking to the salesman, if that's the only ones that they ever get the chance to talk to, that may be all that they think is available in this industry. And there's so many different ways to find yourself inside of automotive. And I mean, we just now are finding our way into the buy here, pay here sphere, where we got the chance to meet you. And there's so many great people to continue to meet, but we want to be enticing to it, an industry of professionals that want, or to a group of individuals that want to find themselves as professionals in an industry. Let them know that automotive is a great place to find yourself and find fulfillment.
Yeah, there are great people in Buy Here, Pay Here. There's about 7 of them, so I think you probably met
there's
them.
a lot more.
I'm kidding. There's a ton.
I love that. I love that. You know, it's so true. It's this industry is layered on top of layers, right? And you can find a place anywhere, folks. Man, woman, happy, not, it doesn't matter. If you want to have opportunity, this industry is great. You know, what we get to do is we get to help people see that, you know, and when we go in and we train these staffs, whether they be green peas to the 40-year veteran, and we get to show them a different perspective on how to look at a car deal, how to look at a person that's sitting in front of you. It really can make a difference. The biggest thing that we've noticed is when we walk in, it's the energy level. You guys seen our energy, right? We come in, we bring all this energy, and it hypes them up. It makes them go, who is this? Either they're like, I don't know if I want this.
They ask the same question. What do you want?
What are you on? Right. You know, but at the end of the day, after a couple of days of being at a store, we've been able to figure out a way to give them a shot in the arm, bring that energy, and for them to be able to carry that on for the next month. So into our next visit. So it's been a blessing. We've been able to take what we know and be able to share it with so many different dealerships now as a consulting firm, as a training agency, and then of course as an affiliate for many other vendors out there.
So your Solutionaries it's a consulting kind of branch.
Absolutely.
You're primarily retail?
Primarily retail, yes, ma'am. We're primarily retail, and we definitely we love it. We love retail. That's a big part of our industry. What we've been part of.
That's our expertise.
That's what we know the best. But what we found is that the process of that is no different than Buy Here, Pay Here. The way that we underwrite is different, right? You're more of a bank when you're there, but at the end of the day, the way that we communicate with our customers, the way that we motivate our sales staff, the way that we acquire vehicles is not far off. It's almost identical. So there's really not much of a difference. A lot of people try to make it so different, and there is differences. And I'm not trying to say there isn't, but at the end of the day, it's about helping others. That's really all it is. It's about being able to explain to people, being able to find a solution for their problem. And when you're able to be that solutionary, which is the certified solutionaries, right? Be that solutionary, somebody who doesn't percolate problems, but we're brewing solutions. It's a huge difference, and it makes a big difference. It fills your cup up with stuff that you can sip on all day long and be able to help instead of sitting there making a pity party happen, right? So that's what it's about.
You guys have coffee as your identity. I got to tell you, last summer I told a story about a dealership in Oklahoma that I visited as a customer. I never worked over there, but on a Saturday morning, they used to have 80 salespeople on the floor. So this is give you an idea of the volume. So, and they offered at the end of their sales meeting, they would offer it and people could line up and get a shot of B12, those who were interested. And so just taking that coffee thing up a dose, up around with the
B12 stop, let's go. Let's get hype.
And a coffee. Okay.
Yeah. So they also sold over 2,000 cars in a single month in that location. So
they were legends in their time. I remember hearing about them. We actually talked a little bit about them on the podcast. But,
I'm not saying do it that way. They had a lot of unhappy customers. So, there's a whole lot of buyer's remorse with that B12, but basically just understand it. That's part of what happens. But it's just kind of, I worked in the new car business for a couple of years, salesperson and sales manager before I was introduced to Buy Here, Pay Here in 97. And I've been in Buy Here, Pay Here ever since. But it's been an interesting ride. I think one of the things that we're noticing, and part of what our seminar is about on the 29th, is that we're just seeing in this digital environment that people out there are struggling. I know you guys must see it in the subprime space and people you work with, and for that matter on the retail sides, like or prime financing for that matter.
Sure,
people are communicating more and more through digital means, web chat, through whatever, and so that challenge for a lot of our people they're seeing tons of leads and they're having a hard time getting them to the building. So that's part of what we're trying to do. So maybe we'll just, from you guys, what are you seeing out there in terms of, because I hear you talk about the relationship part and we know that's a critical thing.
Well, the thing that we get to see in retail and now seeing inside of the Buy Here, Pay Here side is that there was never too much of an emphasis on the outbound work that the sales pros had to do. For those that did figure that part out, they developed BDCs, they developed these different parts or arms of the dealership that would go into trying to help cultivate that, only because it wasn't really a culture of sales pros to do much outbound work.
That's right.
We waited for people to show up to our lot. I know how we showed up in the car business. The best way for us to know how to get moving in the business was learn our 10 steps, get out on point, go for it. right? That's what we did. We weren't really taught how to handle all of the outbound work. It wasn't until we started to have more access to a tremendous amount of leads and start to work inside of digital and say, man, there's a lot of people that are wanting information. We need to get these salespeople after that. And once we started to realize that inside of our little area, our little neck of the woods, we then started to build different metrics of what it looked like to have a successful day. Because let's be real, car guys, car gals, all of you out there, if you take a look at your day, just spot around without letting your sales pros know what's going on. You might see a whole lot of this. Going on through the day. And because of those spaces inside of the day, we were like, man, how much work are we actually doing? I know we're here for many hours, but how much work is actually getting done? And with the movement of all this digital action and how quickly a person can click and become a lead, there was a need for that. And there still is a need for that. What we're seeing now on the buy here, pay here sector is that for those that really want to be able to acquire a customer and start building a relationship, it's there, but it hasn't been inside of our training forums. Remember, we're the most under-trained industry of professionals that there are. Unless we have a product that we're representing, whether it's an OEM brand or something like that, there's not much that's really regulated inside of training. You can get a salesperson license with no qualifications, right? You just got to fill it out, have the right background check, and you're good to go. But
you can you can get a license today and be out there mishandling customers tomorrow, right?
That's right.
Exactly. And
that is 100%.
Of that, we have been so undertrained. And inside of that, because of just our background, we are veterans. We understand, the importance of training and process on the menial tasks, right? The littlest things you have to have an SOP for, right? A standard operating procedure on the littlest things. And inside of that, taking that to just our personal business, while we were successful as salespeople, we were like, okay, well, here's a process. Bam, 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 bam. This is how we create more. Teaching that to the next generation, and now being able to overflow that. That's ultimately what we were swelling up with inside of our store. We had so much knowledge we were pouring into the sales pros that we had, that it was spilling over, and we wanted to be able to get it out to more. And because of that outreach, we're seeing that so many other people are awakening to, hey, there is a process, and we can get more if we do more with what we have access to.
Sure. And one of the things I see is I just want to see salespeople out there using their talents more to connect with people on a human level, and we know our friend Maggie Pogesic talks about, connecting with people.
Are you familiar with her?
Oh, yeah. I love Maggie. I'm going to have her on the show soon.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. She talks about the things we talk about. It helps us just speak louder about the things that, that we know are working. And that is, in this whole digital environment we talk about, people there are folks who want to just do the whole process from their cell phone on the sofa, right, and buy a car that way. In reality, we feel like the sooner we can connect with that person on the phone, get them in the building, then we can use our talents and our knowledge. We hope we have a lot of knowledge of our inventory and that kind of. So we need them at the building. We can help them a lot more from the building. And so we know it's a changing environment, but we still believe that we can't really use our talents until we have them in person. And so we want to try to, or at least on the phone, right, and start to connect with them and get them in there. People used to say that I worked with in the sales management offices, they'd say, those folks aren't here to buy a ham sandwich.
Right. And that's true.
So you got to pay attention and be ready to help them buy a car. So but it's kind of a helpful thing. Go ahead.
It is, and through the years, I've been in this industry for over 20 years now. And for about 8 years of it, I did staffed events. I traveled the country, and I was very fortunate to be able to go from dealership to dealership, state to state, spend 4 to 5 days, bring in tons of advertising, and talk to hundreds of people in a week. Right. And I was a high level closer. I was out there, constantly touching everyone that walked in. I was like the floor manager, right? I was just making sure that everybody was doing what they're supposed to. Customers were happy, getting something to drink, that they were, moving forward, taking the test drives they needed to take. And it was fun. I saw a lot of good things and a lot of bad things throughout the country. What I did notice and what I did learn was that most people didn't know what they needed to do that day. And like Lou said, the training was so not enough. It was just, hey, here's a book, read this, go out and do it, kiddo. Right. And some people excelled. Lou and I, we were just happened to be fortunate enough to where you gave us a process. We used it. We were creative. We're both very high energy guys, and we were able to go out and take that and excel. But we were also one of those guys who'd go listen to the veterans closed car deals. We'd go listen to them, talk to a customer and get them to take a test drive when they didn't want to, or whatever it was. I was listening and I was learning and I was taking notes. Not a lot of people do that today, and that's okay. You know, I suggest that if you're out there, you're confused, pay attention to what the veterans that are successful are doing. Success usually can show you a lot. So go out and look for that. But it takes activity every single day. And so that's what we preach. That's what we want to show. And that's what we're out there doing when we get to train and we get to talk to staffs, is that we show them a way to be consistent. We give them a playbook, but not only do we know and show, but we also go. So when we get there, we're going to walk with them. We're going to make sure that they're doing this. We're going to be holding them accountable. And accountability is probably the number one fault of the industry. I think we hold people accountable for certain things, like you need to sell a car a day, but we don't hold them accountable for the activities that it takes to sell a car a day. We don't hold them accountable for things that they didn't do that day, right? Do we double check that they finished that? Are we letting them leave before they finish their activities? You know, why are they leaving early if they haven't made all their phone calls that day? Why are they leaving early if they haven't done all their follow-ups and things like that? You know, so that's where we come in and we show that, hey, through this, you can be the most successful dealership in your town, if not in your area, right? So it makes a big.
I love it.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I, you know, it's like one of the reasons why we chose the topic that we did for this webinar at the end of the month is because, you know, with a lot of our clients that, you know, they're changing how they do social media and how they're getting leads, and you know, they're working an awful lot, and they're investing money and you know, and connecting with companies or people that will really help them start to connect socially. And that we're seeing is that there, when we look at like the number of leads coming in, it's double, it's triple, it's quadruple what they used to have, but they're not selling more. And it's, so there's a disconnect there. And actually, when I chatted with when we were talking to Maggie, and I don't know if it was on the podcast because I've talked to her a couple of different times, that she gave a number. Actually, no, it was when we did the interview for the vendor spotlight.
Right on.
She gave a number, and I'm not going to say the number, but it was like, you've got to be joking. One of her clients, she gave a percentage of how many web leads they actually get in the building. And it was a triple digit number. Wow. And I'm like, how the heck? If it's that, it's, what are you doing? How, you know, what are you doing? How are you communicating with them? All of that stuff. It blew me away. And I thought, this is stuff people need to understand, need 100%. To learn, need to appreciate it.
Absolutely. I love what you just said there. And it's, Lou and I preach this. Actually, the very first thing that we train any staff is language, right? And language isn't English, but it's how to speak to people. And it's not just verbally. It's through text messages, through email, and what's the rhythm of it? How do we communicate digitally? You know, you mentioned something earlier, and I do believe that the digital world is going to get more. I think that we're going to be selling a lot more cars without people even showing up.
Sure.
Is that going to be the biggest part of the market? No, but it's a part of it. And if you're missing a deal because you don't have that ready and you don't know how to communicate that, how to deliver that, you're going to miss multiple deals. And eventually the dealership next to you that does the same thing, that's your competitor, if they know how, they're going to take all that business.
Yeah.
And it's not that you have to be one or the other. It's just like, meet your customer where they are. What is it that they want? Be prepared to do it.
Yeah.
Amen.
And
you know,
the versatility of the dealer has had to change dramatically over the past few years, and rightfully so. I believe that we were forced into a position where everybody said, well, what do we do now? Right? Yeah. How do we do this now? Are we essential? Are we not essential? Are we allowed to open our door or not open our door? Sit in front of a customer or sit them outside? Whatever it was, we had to adjust how we actually made the contact, how we gave the customer the information. But something that is absolutely not going to change is a customer is still going to want to have somebody to speak to after the sale. After they have the product, they're still going to need to have it serviced. So the relevancy of dealerships is one thing, but the connection, yes, to make the purchase has dramatically changed. And what we want to implore dealers to do is wipe off the model of just who you wanted to sell to. Right. And start to re-engage yourself in being able to help anybody that comes to your door saying that they need help. Now, granted, if that's not quite the inventory that you carry, understood, right? If you're in a particular market where, hey, this is pretty much who your customer is going to be, and that's the inventory that you carry, great. But if somebody wants that product, don't be limited in how you can deliver that product to them. If they have the means to be able to get it, do not be limited in getting your product to them. If it's across the country or across the town, one way or another, find a way for somebody that does want what you have to get to them. And that right there is really that Amazon model, that flow that has been transforming all of us. Yes, there is going to be more of it, but you can never replace sitting there with somebody that is concerned about you to get you taken care of. But we do have an entire generation that is used to and being more situated to where they do not have to deal with a human to get what they want.
No, and he's absolutely right. In the certified solutionaries, the one thing about us is we're able to coach that into people, load their lips up on how to speak this way, load their text messages up for them to show them how to communicate there. Because the future is you got to communicate where they want to communicate. And a lot of times it's not by phone anymore. It's not. So we got to get ready for that.
One of the things when we especially when we meet dealers that are thinking about getting into the buy here, people that are regular retail want to get into the buy here, pay here space. When you're talking about a product and, about selling a product, the biggest shift that we have to get a dealer to make is that their product is no longer a car. Your product now is financing and you. Mm-hmm. And so it's like your product is not a car. Stop selling a car. Start selling you. Start selling your finance program. And so
true.
You have solutions. That's all somebody wants. They don't. People are always going to tell you, I want to have the Corvette for $250 a month, right?
Yeah.
But how many times have we put that person on the Chevette for $550 a month? I'm just saying, like, they need somebody to show them that they can help them. They need somebody to show them what they can do, right? But do it in a loving way. Do it in a way that's not so car guy-ish like we used to be. It's more of a, I'm your friend, we're friends, let's build rapport, let's make a relationship, and then the revenue will come, right? Let's put people in front of our profits, and I promise you things will turn out really great. And that's where, we can get all digital and all this, and reviews and video testimonials and so many things, especially in buy here, pay here, my friends. If you're not getting video testimonials with your customers about the process that you just gave them, and they're leaving in a vehicle when they were told no at 10, 20 different places, and your staff was able to help them, and you don't have a video, it's cool to get a review. That's great. Yeah. But a video testimonial, let's get in the future, my friends. Let's get digital. Get that video. I'm just saying.
I love it.
Difference.
Hey, we're on video this morning. We're doing good, right?
You're killing it. Jim and Michelle already had the game, my friends. They're showing you guys the way.
It's been several weeks ago that we were doing ours kind of radio style without cameras, and finally people nudged us and said, "You got to get on the camera." So here we are. We're camera ready, and
you guys are doing a great job. We love that. I love that you guys went to the camera, and it's been really cool. It's for me. I'm a visual guy. I learn visually, so I can hear things, and I'll listen to podcasts, of course, right? But the reason why we went to the web/podcast is because I'm a visual, so I know that's going to affect. Some people are just going to watch it, and some people just want to hear it. But you're going to, just like a car business, if you're not marketing to everyone, you're missing something.
Well, what we were trying to do on those mornings that we hadn't showered, we were trying to spare you the visual. See, we're trying to save you.
I wear baseball caps.
Yeah, right.
That's like you dudes have it made. You wipe the sleep out of your eyes, put a baseball hat on, and you're good to go.
That's it. Just put some water there, put the hat on, and be like, all right, we are wide awake.
Yes, exactly. We've actually just a side note, squirrel.
I have to keep a shotgun around with her. So always squirrels around.
Because we've talked about, hey, when we land somewhere for an extended period of time, I like the idea of having an office to go to, because we did that the whole time we were in Oklahoma at Jim's mom's house. And I really liked the idea of having an office to go to. And I said, but it'd be great to have a podcast studio in the house so that I can roll out of how much time? 30 seconds. Plant.
You saw some of our earlier footage or some of our earlier videos, which aren't out there. Most of our first episodes were all actual podcasts, so we were recording them.
The first 10 weren't really much video
into just podcasts. So we made it a goal right after that 10th one that we were going to start jumping on video. But we were late at night. We were remember, we're full-time car guys working in dealerships. The only time that we really had to get together was in the wee evenings of the night. My wife goes down for the night. I'm on my way over to the studio. Here
2, 3 in the morning,
in pajamas,
recording and just
in whatever,
practicing and
didn't
just
care what we looked like.
Even learning how to edit sound. We were doing all those things for like
the whole crew,
and it didn't matter what we looked like, and we were cool with that for that time. Then we had to adjust a little bit, right? So you're right, putting on the cap and the sweatshirt isn't much for the guys, but the flow that like there's some pictures that got out there, or we have pictures out there of us early, and we're like, wow, what the heck was I wearing that night? You know what I mean? Everybody has their lounge flow at home, but sometimes that's how I got to the studio. Okay, let's go. Let's get this recorded, kick this out, head out. We're like, we got a picture of that? Whoa!
What? Yeah. Well, and you learn too when you have to be on camera, kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen the news anchors where they get up from behind the desk and they're wearing shorts.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, that was all 2022, right? Every meeting, everybody was in shorts or pajama pants at the bottom.
Got a shirt, maybe a tie on. It is not tucked in.
Yeah.
It's just sat on.
All you have to do is be from chest high looking fly. Yeah, all right, chest high looking fly, and we're good to go.
I love it. Absolutely.
We got to have you guys on again.
Love
folks, and for all you all that are fans of the show, we're going to have both Jim and Michelle on our show too very soon. I cannot wait to have them on. It's going to be great to hear their story. So be ready for that. We'll make sure that you guys, this audience, knows when it's happening. We're going to make that happen soon. But no, this was great. We do appreciate. We are honored to be on your show today. When we got to meet you all, there was already a buzz about you all, and you guys have been doing it for a short amount of time. But you've been super consistent. Is the reason why you're successful. Not to mention you're both superstars. So that's a deadly combo. We're excited to see what you guys do over the next year. 2023 is going to be big for the Buy Here Pay Here morning show. I know it is. It's going to be big for Buy Here Pay Here in general, my friends. So get after it. Follow them. Make sure you guys check this show out, because I know I'm checking it out. This is where I get my knowledge for the Buy Here Pay Here world. So you all need to do the same.
Kind of you. And we appreciate you guys. We didn't put a little label up there or a banner, but you guys can find Fred and Lou over at Car Guy Coffee Podcast on all your favorite podcast channels. So check out those guys.
Is it solutionaries.com?
Certified Solutionaries.
Certifiedsolutionaries.com. And that's where you can check out our business. You can set up an appointment on there through Calendly to sit down and have a free conversation to see how we can help.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So if your business is missing some energy, you want to step up your energy and professionalism, you got two guys right there who can do it. Lou, I can't let you get away.
And at carguycoffee.com, we have everything from every episode that we've put out so far, which is hundreds of them. And then we also have, of course, swag and coffee there. We do have our own coffee brand. We have 2 different blends. We have a medium roast and a dark roast. That's right. Get you some.
Dark roast.
Let's brew.
On your show, I want to come to the Kentucky studio and do coffee in the podcast studio.
You have to. You're more than welcome. You guys come through Kentucky, you're more than welcome to come to the studio.
Limited people.
I have a few signatures on my board.
Nice. We're actually going to be creating morning show coffee mugs. So we'll bring some morning show coffee mugs. We'll brew some of your coffee, and we'll have a nice chat.
Yeah, let us know. I know you all get to travel a lot. If you are coming through here, you got to at least spend a day here with us.
Yeah, of course.
Love the idea.
I'm not really a coffee snob. I'm more of a creamer snob. But
we got those too. I got a lot of those different ones. I got everything from the conventional creamer all the way to oat milk stuff. Different flavors.
That sounds like fun. Absolutely. Well, hey guys, thanks so much for joining us. Stick around for just a second. After the show, we can just have a quick chat. And we'll thank you again. We'll talk to y'all later. So thank you. Stuff. That was an awful lot of fun.
It would be.
Really, really enjoy them. And I look forward to actually having some things that we do in the future with them. That will be an awful lot of fun. All right,
thank
guys.
Thank you folks for tuning in.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I am not going to tell you how many more days you have left for Christmas shopping.